here. All right, we're good to go. Let's get this rocket ship going. My name's John Bermudez. I am your returning host for this challenge, and we've had an amazing journey. Yesterday we went over sales and prospecting, and we went in depth. We went in depth on a little bit of the gateway offer, core offer, expansion offer, and then we transitioned that into the bridging the gap conversation track. And that bridging the gap conversation track, as I shared yesterday, if you didn't get to tune in yet or you're just catching up, jump into day three's live recordings, whether it's on YouTube, on our replays link below, or on our Facebook groups that's pinned on the very top. We went into the bridging the gap conversation track on how you start to understand their story, understand their business, and then eventually transition into the numbers of their business, how their business runs, and then transition into the conditions of where their business is at the moment. Spend some minutes there, and then into the decision-making process, right? Understanding, not by asking them, how do you make decisions, but asking them questions that relate to making decisions. You know, how do you normally handle a situation like this? What are your thoughts on this? Do you have a timeline already established? These are powerful questions that allow you to uncover where they're at in their buying journey. And, you know, we don't want to do a one-call close just to get a one-call close in. We want to be able to get a one-time done right relationship from the beginning and nurture that relationship moving forward. And that's where these 4 phases that, as you practice, you'll be using over and over and over with different tweaks depending on where they're at in the journey, whether it's upselling, whether it's onboarding, whether it's them referring you to another business or another employee of the business. So these are great components that are going to be part of it. So if you have any questions about that, go ahead and start typing those questions in the chat, wherever you're at, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Start jotting your questions that you might have on that. We'll make a U-turn and tackle those questions and give you some context as needed. But today I want to get into another important component, which is fulfillment. Fulfillment has everything to do with really allowing the customer to now get the product that you've been discussing, right? We talked about all the great things that we're going to do, all the opportunities that we have, and now it's time to deliver, right? They've given us their method of payment. Now we have to deliver the goods. So if you can see my screen, I'm working off of one screen today, folks. If you can see my screen, full screen well, go ahead and say, I see it clearly. I see your screen. Just let me know if there's any discrepancy so I can go ahead and take care of that here quickly. Awesome. All right, looks like we're good to go. So today's day 4 fulfillment, and today's agenda is going to revolve around 3 important pillars. That's client onboarding from you and the client. That's going to be client login from the client's experience with the software, whether it's high level, unbranded, or whether it's white labeled with your brand. Either or, they need to experience the software firsthand, knowing how to get in, navigate, and pretty much become a daily active user using it. That's our goal. And then last is going to be training and adjusting the AI assistant, because we know that every customer has their unique needs. And we do know, like I spoke before yesterday, you know, we can go into an industry, we can go into a niche. And as we start bringing on more beta or more paying clients, it becomes easier to duplicate each time that process. It's more of a small customizations around their business name, their hours, things like that. So by the end of this live session, you're going to have the confidence that you take your beta client, you take your first paying client, and now you walk them through the software. You're getting their AI bot up and running, their AI receptionist, AI executive assistant, however you decide to call it. And to go a little bit more in depth, So a little bit more in depth, it's all about setting the right expectations. If we don't set the right expectations, we fail the customer, we fail our business. Think about when you made a purchase for something and then you started asking questions initially, and then you find yourself always asking questions because the information wasn't given to you clearly. You start to get maybe annoyed or frustrated. So we want to lay out the clear expectations from the beginning and then trickle in maybe some particular use cases or scenarios that might come up. And you'll learn these over time. Then we want to become familiar with the systematic onboarding checklist that we've included in the in your website portion of the snapshot, where you're sending them the link, they're filling it out, or you're filling it out with them as you go. And then the overall goal here is really setting the stage for ascension, which has everything to do with growth, taking it to the next level. So, what we spoke about from day one, day two, day three has everything to do with this model, which is the gateway offer, which is the initial use of the AI reception, them becoming a monthly recurring client. Think of it like a utility bill, AI reception tool, $197 a month. And then as you're doing a great fulfillment, a great onboarding, they're going to want more. They're going to want more services. They're going to want more coaching. They're going to want more growth because of you and with you. And that's going to be important to keep in mind because that's our North Star. Our North Star is to get that expansion offer implemented based on the great service that we offer from fulfillment. So I like to go over here a few things that'll be important when you initially get into the software, of a few areas that you should show your clients. So that way you could start getting them prepared to understand what is available within the platform. And typically when we do this demo, we want to show them where the pipelines is at. We want to show them where the form and surveys is at. We want to show them where the calendar is at. And then we want to show them where the funnels and workflows is at. And we want to show them that because we know that they're going to do their own research and their own kind of peeking around in the software. So we want to at least give them a guide of where they maybe should consider going first. And then we can start baking those sections in as part of our expansion offer as needed. And it becomes a smoother conversation. So I'm going to give you all a demo of that, of how that looks. And I'm kind of basically walk you through it as if you were my customer virtually. So we can kind of simulate a little bit of maybe a few ways that you can talk about it. So let's get right into that here. Keep in mind, I will be sharing on Zoom, and it might be laggy. If for some reason my internet cuts out, my colleagues are on here. I will jump right back on, and we'll pick up where we left off. So don't be alarmed if I disappear by accident. I promise to be right back, and we'll get you going here. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. If you can just let me know in the chat if you can see. I'm going to maximize my screen here. Maximize this. We're going to maximize, enter full screen mode. All right. If you can see my full screen clearly, you can see the conversations tab. It's not small letters. Go ahead and let me know you can see my screen clearly. And then I'm going to go right here into the chat and make sure. Okay. Thank you, Robert, Randy, Patrick. Sweet. Okay. So we're doing good here. All right. So I'm going to walk through this demo that I talked about. Just pull up my notes and we're going to get right into it. Okay. All right. So, Dr. Joe, I'm super excited to spend some time with you here and just walk you through what our platform is going to be doing for you from the AI receptionist function that we got you started with. But I just want to give you a brief demo of what the platform also includes. So that way, if you're looking around or you're curious, you kind of know where everything's at. And based on what you'll be using for your day-to-day doc, um, the conversations tabs, we're going to connect this to your website. So that way, if someone comes to your website, we will capture that traffic and give them a call to action so that way they can engage with us on the website. And what that does is it allows us to have a two-way conversation where normally they would have just visited and left. And as we do that, we can start asking questions to collect their information. And sometimes we find, Doc, that folks will visit the website during the hours that you're not working, and they'll have questions. So we're going to prepare those questions that they would normally ask you to be easily answered on your behalf with the AI reception. Okay. Those will be here, right? And we'll get in more depth on that. But I want to show you here because you had mentioned a few areas that you're looking to potentially replace software that you're using now and maybe go all in one with our software. So I want to show you an area here when it comes to um, to sales. I want to show you our opportunities tab. The opportunities tab is an area that we're going to at some point introduce to you where you'll be able to have a list of patients that have maybe visited your website or potential patients that have visited your website, have questions, and you can move them along. You can move them along the flow of where they're at in their journey with you. So let's say, for example, an appointment was booked and then that appointment was completed. You'll be able to move them into the appointment completed. And you can customize these tabs. If there is another service, maybe they're moving to x-rays or additional appointment services, you can move that over here as well. So you have the opportunity to have these pipelines. We call them pipelines. So that way you know where your patients or potential patients stand in your interactions. Okay. And to create additional pipelines, you'll be able to do so in the settings here. So if we had new patient pipeline, existing patient pipeline, returning patient pipeline, you have that option. With that being said, pipelines also works, excuse me, pipelines also works with other parts of our software. Everything connects as long as you set it up. We'll get there, but I just want to show you this part because I find that doctors will say, I want to know where my patients are at in the journey so I can offer them certain messaging or I can offer them additional services, right? The next section here is our forms and surveys. Excuse me. Okay. And our forms and surveys is under our sites tab. And our forms and surveys allows you to create custom forms based on what you will need to collect information wise. So let's say, for example, you want to create a custom form for a new patient registration. You'll be able to create that custom form for a new patient registration within the software and then implement that new patient registration with all the fields you need into your website, right? And that way, when you drive traffic to that page, it fills it in and it feeds into your CRM. Okay. And there's many other use cases on this. We'll also use forms in the future to help you collect new leads. Forgive me. We'll help you collect new leads. And those new leads, the way you're doing it now is that your leads are emailed to you. This will automatically put those new leads in your CRM. And that is so powerful because it streamlines everything, right? As we do that, we also have surveys. And the important part about surveys is that you want to get information from your patients that matter most. And that could be a survey after a visit, that could be a survey um, after, you know, another type of treatment outside of the normal. And that allows you to get the information you need to make adjustments, but also to get that direct communication going. And within that survey, you can add custom fields and information that is relevant. And it's just by simply drag and drop. All you're doing is dragging and dropping, right? So it's very easy, and you're able to create those custom fields as needed as well. So, we'll be here to walk you through and help you with all of this. I just want to, you know, just give you the opportunity of seeing what's available and what we might recommend in the next couple of days as we start to uncover and put your program to work and you start seeing the results we discussed. Okay. Next thing I want to discuss with you and show you is our calendars. Our calendar feature is very important. And Doc, you had mentioned that right now you're doing calendars through a different software as well as paper pen. And we want to consolidate all that. And we want to consolidate it with the intent of cross-pollinating it within your CRM so you can use that information, extract that information for different parts of your patient's journey with you. So when you go on the left side here, you'll see the calendars tab. And what's really, really nice about this, there are many different calendar platforms that are out in the market. We've pretty much taken all the cool, great, easy, fun, popular features from those different calendars and put it all into high level, which is powerful because, sometimes we find customers in the past before they meet us, they're like hopping from software to software because one software has a new feature, the other one doesn't have, and they want that feature. So we're always taking feedback and adjusting these to be for what our customers want and need now. So this here is the calendar view where you can schedule appointments, have certain calendar views. And what you can also do here is have a list view of your appointments. And that's very important and powerful because whether it's you or members of your team that are using this, if they're remote, if they're in person, other physicians, they'll be able to see what appointments are on deck for the day, what cancellations, what no-shows, what unconfirmed, everything you're going to need to really run a well-oiled practice. And the great thing is that we see this in action as we speak now with many, if not many of our clients. Okay. Now, this is pretty much like the day-to-day view operation. The calendar settings is the power, right? And we'll work through this together to create the right settings, what you need, how you need it set up. But I just want to give you a bird's eye view of what options we have. And because you have multiple rooms, you offer multiple services, you have multiple physicians, we're able to actually create a calendar for each of those scenarios that you're doing right now, whether it's per physician, per room, per service, per type of service. And that's powerful because now you're able to, one, not have one calendar packed, but two, double book multiple calendars and then move them to their next stage or their next physician that they need to meet with. So let's think about this, Doc. You're doing chiropractic care. You then want to take that patient and have them do the massage. Then you take that patient, want them to do their physical therapy, whether it's you, the front desk, or your operations staff. They can pick that calendar, plug and play, and all of it is within one area. You're not splitting up different systems. No one has different custom calendars on their own phones and stuff. It's just very transparent and in sync. That's what matters. And that's what we're going to do together. We're going to bring everything in sync. Okay. So once we start customizing that and making that tailored to your practice, you'll see other things that become uncovered and adjustments made. I got the sneezes today. Forgive me. Thank you. All right. So the next thing here, and I know you mentioned this briefly, Doc, and again, just to remind you, the service we're doing for you today that we're starting with is the AI executive assistant. Okay. But I want to just bring a peace of mind that you understand that we could do more than that. And we'll discuss that on our check-in call that we'll put on the calendar before we get off, so we can help you get that up and running as well. My goodness, I think I might break a Guinness World Book of Records sneeze. If you think I'm going to break a Guinness World Record of sneezing today, let me know in the chat. We might be onto something here. Okay, forgive me. So, the calendar is powerful, but we spoke about like different iterations of the website. We spoke about what you've seen other physicians do for their practice, where they have like landing pages or squeeze pages, or they have like these offer pages. We'll be able to do the same for you, all within the software, all within using all the information that's collected from your patient from the beginning all the way through their entire journey. Okay. So I'm going to show you what that looks like and where that's at. Okay. Click over here. That is in our sites section. In our sites section, forgive me here, I think I'm on sneeze 10 by now, but we're moving and grooving. Okay. In our sites tab, we have our funnel section. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Hopefully I didn't lose y'all with that last one. We have our funnel section. And in our funnel section, we're able to create landing pages specific to what you're looking for. So I'll just show you a quick sample here, Doc, just so that way, go to health. I see you. 10 sneezes is my norm. I think you're at 4. Yeah, thanks for counting, pal. I appreciate it. We have 54. I love it. You guys are hilarious. This is awesome. So Doc, what we have here, I'm going to see if we have any templates, because we're always updating the software, Doc. And, I think the biggest thing for you to know is that because we're always updating, we're basing it on the latest and greatest and what others in the healthcare industry need. As you see here, Doc, we have a handful of landing pages, funnels available. So let's say we wanted to create a specific chiropractic service booking page that we're going to connect to an additional campaign. We'll be able to do so right away. And you're going to see here, Doc, it's pretty quickly that this happens. We're loading it up. We're going to, once this loads up, we're going to plug in your logo. That'll be there. This is ready to go. This is ready to go, Doc. And what's nice about this is that when we create the different steps, it will feed right into your CRM. So I show you this because everything feeds in to your CRM. Your CRM is your hub. Your CRM is your hub. And that hub is what you're going to use from your phone, from your tablet, from your laptop, from your computer. And it's always going to be in sync because it lives on the cloud. It lives on the cloud. What you may have right now, Doc, is something that like lives locally. Yours is on the cloud. And all of the health regulations and all those details that go along with it, I'll show you and I'll explain as we go a little further. But you are really getting a big upgrade here, and I hope you see what we have in the mix for you as we start to plan out the evolution of your program. We start planning this out. Okay, so Doc, we have the funnels, and that was because of what you had mentioned, and that's important. That's very important. Let me move back to my notes here. Right. And then go ahead and publish that, and that's ready to go. Right. Last thing I want to show you. Now, there's over 500 features in this platform. I can't go over all of them right now, but these are the main ones that we call money-making activity functions. These either help you capture new contacts, identify, move them along the process, engage with them. They help you nurture, where where they're at in your practice's journey. you know where they're at in the relationship journey, right? And then allows you to re-engage with them depending on where they're at, and then close. Meaning maybe we're pushing them into a new service within the practice. Maybe we're pushing them to a referral process to another practice. Maybe we're pushing them into additional services such as massage, acupuncture, physical therapy, personal training, small group training. So sky is the limit, right? And if you're with me on this, and you see the value, um, that makes me feel great because that's what we're all about. The we're here to serve you to help you get over some of the obstacles that you've been dealing with point solutions. So we're on the right path here. Last thing I want to show you, Doc, is our workflows. And this is available in our expansion packages, which we'll get there probably quicker than we expect. But that's fine because it's a good thing, right? These are money-making activities that help us bring in new patients and serve our community. So let me show you what that looks like. So, and as you see here, we got new updates. We always have new updates. We got GPT-4 turbos here. So, Doc, don't let this, sometimes, these features, these new add-ons that we do can build a little bit of overwhelming feelings. Don't let it, just ignore it. If it's urgent or it applies to what we're doing with your program in the expansion phase, we'll mention it to you, we'll train you on it, we'll show you, we'll activate it. But if you have a question about a pop-up or you would like more information, please ask. But the last thing that we want to do is overwhelm you with things that you're not prepared or wanting to do now. But the least thing we want to do is not tell you anything and then you believe you have to look elsewhere for it. So we're going to be keeping in touch in our recommendations. And when we meet in 2 weeks, we'll discuss some of our recommendations for that expansion planning and implementing in those pieces, okay? So Doc, we're gonna get into the automation section. And this is where you're able to, or we're able to help you, or you're able to do it on your own, depending on if you bring on a marketing manager or somebody help you with this, either or is fine. But you're able to use our preset recipes. We call them recipes because a great meal always has a great recipe with it, right? Different little ingredients. This is our recipe book, and we allow you, based on the needs of our previous customers, current customers of all types, we allow you to see our menu of workflows that you can implement in your business with our help or by yourself, either or. And you'll notice that there's a handful of like webinar registration, long-term nurture, FAQ auto reply. I mean, there's so many here. Appointment booking, missed call text back, reactivating your list, the birthday. And I remember this, Doc, because you were like, what sets you apart from everybody else is that you know everybody's name and you go out of your way to write birthday cards for them, which hit me really hard and well, because I remember experiencing what that looked like in my first physician growing up. And then I never got to experience that again. It's that personal touch. So that's what sets you apart. We want to amplify that. So let's say, for example, you have a process now, Doc, that you're going from handwritten cards, but now people you expect digital, or you want to complement the handwritten with the digital. We can go ahead and activate this recipe by clicking on it. And when we click on it, we'll be able to make some adjustments. And again, I just want to give you, a bird's eye view of this. I don't want to go too in depth because the way I'm envisioning is that we'll be working with you during the expansion, and then we can set a team member, myself, or someone on our team to walk you through or do this for you, either or. But we just want to show it to you. So, in the database, in the CRM, we're capturing the birthday, the date of birth, and we're going to be using that as the trigger. And the trigger is pretty much that birthday field. If it's filled in, that then, based on the date, we'll send a text message. And that text message looks something like this. It'll customize the first name. It'll customize your office name and some information with a cute emoji, right? People expect personality, and we want to implement that on your behalf too, right? So we have that part set up, and we know that your patients are gonna want to have a conversation. They're gonna say thank you. Maybe they want to check if it's an authentic message, right? If it was like maybe you or someone that really sent it. So we'll wait for 24 hours. And then if a reply came in within 24 hours, we're going to give them a birthday gift. Maybe it's a 20% discount. Maybe it's a free 1 hour massage, an introductory for the acupuncture, whatever it is, we're going to send that over to them. And then it's going to wait again. And then if they were interested, it's going to have next steps. I want you to see big picture wise, Doc, that this allows you to customize conversation, customize actions by waiting certain time frames or for certain responses. And there's a handful of other triggers, action items that will activate these. And I don't expect you to learn this right away because I know you're running your business and it's a lot, but at the very least, you see that the potential is unlimited. You see that there's a lot of flexibility and we're always adding new ways. So, Doc, I wanted to show you this along with a few other things because it is important. And we see that when we work with chiropractors like yourself throughout the country, that we move pretty quickly because a lot of times the chiropractor is making up for lost time. They've worked with maybe a marketing company that didn't serve their needs. Maybe they worked with, an in-house staff that didn't quite understand what to do. So we find ourselves a lot of times trying to fast track, right? Trying to get those quick wins so that way you feel confident that maybe, now you made the right choice. You're not hoping, we're doing and we're getting. So if you find that you have questions about something, send them over and then we can help you with that as we go, right? So we're going to end scene, cut, right? I want to hear from you all, right? I want to hear from you all. How did you feel about that demo? The demo I just did was a scenario of me with a chiropractor, and I walked through worked four components that we know that most people want to know that they exist, or they're looking to now picture, how do I start cutting my expenses? Let me know what you thought of that demo. Anthony, Bryce, solid. Raphael, super clear. Okay. And again, the nice thing about this here is that you can customize it, right? So if you're working with a certain niche, if you're working with an industry, if you're learning new features that you believe will be better based on the area that you're in, you'll be able to now customize those and at the very least make it so it impacts their business. These are money-making actions that customers want to see, want to hear, but they don't know what to look for. So keep that in mind. Great. Well, look, you guys have been very generous with your patience, with my sneezing, with my scenario. So without further ado, we're gonna move on and hit the next tab here. And again, the demo has everything to do with your comfortability. So it's gonna take practice. This is not a open the box and it's ready to go. You have to practice. You have to record yourself. If you really want to get into this business model and be successful, you have to take action every day, at least 15 minutes a day within the software, within 15 minutes a day within conversation track, understanding your industry, and just being big picture minded that I can do this. I'm made for this. Let me make it happen, right? And there was a few comments yesterday that came up around sales. And I want to just clarify. You do not need to go door to door to meet people to sign them up, right? You do not need to do that. That is just an option for those that are in a different part of their business model, that maybe they have sales teams in place already. Maybe they're going to establish a sales team, or they prefer to, because of they're part of organizations, they prefer to go in person. You can as well leverage Facebook groups, private messages, existing friends lists, live Zoom meetings, Slack channels, as long as you keep in mind that you're a human being and they're a human being and that you treat them like a human being. Because if you're going to just spam people, it's not going to work. Spamming doesn't work. If you're going to just turn on a Facebook ad or a Google ad or a YouTube ad, it's not going to work because they're going to want to know a little bit about the personality behind the business. So my recommendation is for a strategy, and results will vary. Results will vary. Strategies will vary. Is start to build a personal profile of expertise at whatever level you want to start with. Share those use cases. Share your interest. Comment, like on different areas of related topics, whether it's on LinkedIn, Facebook, etc., and start to pay attention to those responses. And then make that relationship by being the first one to start the conversation. And then try to jump on a Zoom meeting. Try to jump on a phone call. Get the voice and the eyes to recognize you. And then you'll be on the right path to continue that on. That I will tell you from personal experience and coaching and helping others, that works. But if we just stay behind the keyboard, unless we have an excellent offer, an excellent source of traffic, an excellent converting page, we're going to have to create our order process because it's not going to just happen on its own. All right. So let's move on here. So I got some requests here of can you show the demo of the AI bot, right? So let's do that now. That's important. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here. And we're gonna kind of pick up where we left off with the AI demo with our chiropractor example, right? Keep the questions coming. Gerard, I see your question. Keep them coming. Promise we'll get to those here. So I'm going to continue with the role play. So Doc, now that I showed you what the software's potential includes, what my other clients end up incorporating on our check-in calls, and we start planning on our expansion, I want to get into the core service that you have with me, which is our AI medical assistant, right? Our AI medical assistant is designed to help you with a few areas. During off hours, if somebody were to go onto your website, click on your website, click around, it'll engage with them to spark a conversation. The next is if they spark the conversation on their own with a question, it will work off of your database of questions that we trained it on. That's evergreen, that will always be updating, and it'll give them the answers or close to answers or time frame of when that in-depth answer will be given. So we're going to respond. In addition, because you're okay with allowing appointments, we're going to create the option so that way we can set a request to call back appointment, a first visit patient appointment, as well as a physical therapy first visit appointment. So now, if somebody is learning about you the first time, they want to come in, they have back pain, neck pain, they have a prescription for physical therapy now, they don't have to wait between your hours of operation. Now, this is important because you had mentioned to me, Doc, that on Mondays, you are open from 5 a.m. to 2, and then you open again from 3 to 5. So we have some gaps of times that is unattended, where they'll go to the voicemail or no one will be around. And then you mentioned on Wednesday you have shorter hours, and then you mentioned on Friday you're closed, and then Saturday you're open, and then Sunday you have emergency only hours. So we want to create the Q&A as well as the calendars to be easily available. If somebody says, look, I have an emergency, the AI medical assistant will say, we're sorry to hear that. These are our emergency hours if you would like to come in to see the physician, if in fact you do not need to go to an emergency room. So we want to just be clear that emergency hours is not an emergency room. It's just outside of our normal practice hours, right? Or outside of our normal practice hours, and we'll include that. So then what will happen? They could book an appointment, you'll get notified, it'll go into the calendar, into the CRM, and appointment reminders will come, okay? And then we talked about answering some questions that happen all the time, such as your insurances you accept, physical therapy availability and how it works, and your massage therapy um, availability, right? So we have all those things that we're going to train our bot, right? So I want to show you what I've put together for you already from a version 1 that we'll need to tweak. Okay, Doc, let's do this. So what I want to start with you first is, where are the conversations going to live when someone engages, right? Those conversations are going to live in the Conversations tab on your app. On your app, you're going to click on the hamburger, and then you can go click on the Lead Connector app, and then the hamburger will get you to the conversations. You'll see all the conversations. On the right-hand side, you'll see the contact information. If you click here, it'll open up a whole new tab. And we're going to customize this for you, where you'll have custom fields for the information that you want to collect, but also that you want to add. And as this is loading up, Doc, when I'm on the screen share here, sometimes it's a little slow on my end. You won't be using screen share using this, so that won't affect you. But I'm just on the Zoom here, so please excuse me here. But you'll be able to customize these fields, and it'll look a little bit like this, right? And it'll have, all the different standard options, the date of birth, so we can send out the birthdays. That's a key. It'll have the status, pertinent information, times, all this good stuff. Any questions? So, Doc, you mentioned we're going to build out the new patient form. The questions on the form will be in the questions of the contact for the patient, right? So as we start to develop and create this AI medical assistant experience, we can send your first new patient a link. They fill that in as part of the AI chat response. That information feeds into the patient folder, and now you're picking up and filling in the blanks. And that's the magic, keeping everything all in one, no longer having different systems with different trainings and logins, right? So this is the conversation tabs. Everything lives here. This will connect to your website, so it'll be very in sync. Let's get into now where we're going to push the buttons and pull the levers for this. Now, we established that you want to be hands-off, so I'm going to be doing the heavy lifting for you, a majority. I will need your assistance on some of the custom, questions and information that we'll have here. But I want to show you what it looks like, so that way you understand and can picture if we need to make a change or what kind of change we need to make, what that, at least where that will be. So this is our Conversation AI hub. This is where the power of the Conversation AI lives. And we have our AI medical receptionist settings. So I've set up everything here because we've activated your two-way text messages. We've activated your chat widget. We've connected your social media. We're going to use all of it, right? We have it set up here on autopilot. And this is basically, we're going to do all the responding on your behalf, as in the AI medical receptionist assistant will, based on the information we've trained it with. And we'll get into that next, right? And we filled it in here to be, we might find that we have it 1 second right now, but we might change it to 3 seconds, depending on how much of a speed we want and how much traffic we get. So these are things that we'll adjust based on our experience. But by all means, if you have a question, you can click on the I info and you can learn and make those adjustments yourself as well. And we'll be in touch, especially as we first get to start. We'll be in touch You'll be able to two-way communicate with us, and we'll make those adjustments as needed, right? So let's get into the bot training, Doc. So you gave me a bunch of questions and answers that you're dealing with now. I pulled them from your website as well. So I've done two things. I've gone through your website. I grabbed the frequently asked questions that your last website company put together. I compiled them into a Google Doc. I put that Google Doc link into your AI medical receptionist, and it started learning. I also went to your website, and I went to every page on your website that's potential patient facing, and I had the AI medical receptionist bot also learn that as well, right? Because it's still your business. Someone may ask a question about your hours, so I plugged all that in. If there's any changes to your hours, to any services, anything you do with your business, you have to please let me know, Doc, because unless you update it on the website, it won't rescan it. And if it's not updated on the Google Doc sheet that I put together, it will give that, inaccurate information. So we have to, we're going to be in touch, but I'm just want to put it out there to please stay in touch with me on these changes. Look at me as an extension of your staff, right? Like I'm in it with you here. My team's in it with you here. We want to know what's going on, and we're going to make it easy to communicate that with us without you having to figure out what's the best way, text, call, email. We have a whole process for that. So let's go into the document I created for you. So Doc, these are all the questions that we spoke about in our initial call, as well as from your website of what people ask you typically about your hours, insurances you accept. And I've included those answers here, right? Included all that here, and we'll build upon this. And then I've added that into the bot and it's trained on it, right? And then I've added the websites as well. So we're good to go. If at any moment though, you, your wife, your assistant, your office manager wants to add any one-off question answers without trying to find out which document to update or what to do, you can go here to the customized bot responses and you can add your own question and answer. That way it's straight to the point, okay? And you can add as many as you want. So, just keep in mind, keep each question and answer separate. Don't copy and paste it in one for all. You got to do it separate. This is like a new employee. I want you to look at this like a new employee, right? They need to learn, and if we don't teach them, they're not going to know how to respond. All right. So that being said, we're going to go now into our training, Doc. So based on all the information we've put together, we just want to do some training, so that way we know what the bot is going to say. So let's just say, okay, so this is an example here, Doc, and maybe this is not the answer that you want it to have, but the whole point of conversational AI is for it to come off like I'm typing to you, right? So how do I book an appointment? Hey there, to book an appointment, just let me know when you like to come in. What day are you thinking? I like this response, so let's give it a thumbs up. If I disagreed with the response, I give it a thumb down. And then at that point, it'll record that and make adjustments. Okay. I'm going to ask a question about what insurances do you accept? Now, keep in mind that we haven't filled in your insurance information yet. You're still putting that list together for me. So when I ask this question, the response is, there's no information at the moment, right? So this is not a good response, but this is our fault because we haven't updated it yet. So we could definitely put no good, but now when you put the thumbs down, our system, let me do this one again. Go ahead. What insurances do you accept? We have not yet added any insurances. I'm going to hit the thumbs down. So now it wants me to answer the question. So we make it so easy that you can do it yourself, but we're here to support you as part of our initial setup. But here, this is where you would copy and paste those insurance types, right? And now you're giving the training that your AI medical virtual receptionist needs to serve your visitors or your patients, right? Now, as we have that going there, that starts to train it, okay? And as you see this is a great way to just have a checkup from the neck up of what in fact is required to fill in the gaps, okay? So as we go here, we can reset the conversation. We're gonna set up your booking. We're gonna set up your calendar bookings. And we're gonna go a little bit in depth. So I will need a little bit more information from your office manager. And I'll work with her on that. And then I'll need a little bit of information from your physical therapist. I'll work with her on that as well. And then I need a little bit of information from the massage therapist. I'll work with him on that. And we'll get those set up. I just want to give you the big picture of what we'll be doing and how we do it. How does that look for you, Doc? Fantastic. That's exactly what I was hoping for. And as we evolve in our relationship, I'm hoping that I'm going at a pace where you're excited and not overwhelmed, because sometimes this can be a little overwhelming. But the real nice part about this is that there's always room for improvement and we can pivot as needed. So that being said, Doc, what I'm going to be doing on my end is I've established some KPIs. And the first KPI that I want to set as a barometer here is how many new conversations do we have and how many new appointments do we book from those conversations. And when we meet weekly, we'll start off weekly for the first 4 weeks, and then we'll expand to every other week. We want to look at together, are we giving the bot, the AI medical receptionist, all the information it needs to book those appointments? And we'll make those adjustments. And then I want you to see, and I want to see how much unidentified traffic have we been letting leave without engaging with, and how many of those become conversations that we then convert into new patients. If you're excited about that, let me know. I am too. Absolutely, Doc. I agree with you. Right. So I'm going to end scene there. And I want to hear from all of you in the chat. I'm looking at right now the Facebook business page, our facebook.com/high level reviews page. I'm looking at the chat thread here. Let me know what was one nugget that you took away from that. Let me know one aha moment that you took away from that. Was it the role play of going back and forth, tonality? Was it the questions? Was it the kind of painting the picture of the unspoken question, right? Covering all ends? Was it going through the software, step by step? Was it painting the next big picture with my bridging the gap conversation points? Was it the KPIs? Was it where to go? Like, let me know what you grabbed from that. And while you are putting that information in there in the chat, just know that it took me practice. I've worked with different softwares. None of them are all the same. So it definitely took time to learn, practice, learn, practice, learn, practice. You get the drift. So that being said, Travis, I agree with you, man. I think the KPIs are important. Travis, gambling KPIs, right? So we want to know how many conversations did we get started with our medical AI receptionist? How many of them turned into appointments? And even, how many new patient forms came in, right? Because think about this. Let's say we have a chiropractor, a physical therapist, a massage therapist, whoever's in the healthcare field. Our AI medical receptionist AI feature is designed that if you're doing Facebook ads, Google ads, Instagram ads, you got a brand new website, you're doing SEO, you're doing billboards, you're doing flyers, you're doing phone calls, You have tons of reviews. You pop up everywhere. You're brand new. You get referrals, word of mouth. Most people, if not all the time, will go to your website and then click a button to learn more. And they typically click a button to learn more and then they leave. So we want to capture as much information as we can and give them a fast experience. And they typically leave because there's not a response back. So think about this. I go onto a physician's website. I plug in my name, phone number, email. I'm gone because I know they're not going to respond back right away. It's 10 o'clock at night. But if I go on that same website and I do a chat and then they respond back, I'm going to keep my phone and my thumbs working because I didn't expect it. One, two, I have a need. And three, I want to get in the office right away while I'm thinking about it and wanting it. That's important. That's very important. So the KPIs matter, and you start to create your own KPIs based on the service. So if we had a home services, Joe the plumber, Joe the HVAC, Tim the tree man, whatever it is, Tim, we want to look at a few things. How many new conversations? Are they new customers? Did they request an estimate? Did they ask questions about pricing? Whatever it is, we want to start building those KPIs from that. Okay. Awesome. So let's move on here. Let me get to the next section here. Keep the questions coming. Thank you for the feedback. So I'm gonna just answer this one question. I have the same question. Do they onboard as GHL or as hours? I got you, G. I see you. Velocity Solutions, thanks for that. It's up to you. It's up to you. You can do one or two things. You can go through the day two setup and white label everything as we instruct you to, adding your domain, making your adjustments, your logo, or you can leave it out the box, which is basic, high level branding. Your choice, your absolute choice. I hope that answers it. So that's what we have there. Let's move on to the next. Keep the questions coming, but I wanted to grab that one because I didn't want to leave that up for any doubt. Okay. Yeah, full white label branding. We're like the only software that offers that at no charge. So white label, the web browser, put your logo. Like people charge a premium for that, right? Some don't even offer it. Some don't even offer it. So let's get back to the agenda here. Let me share this. Okay. We got share my screen. And we're gonna go slideshow mode. Okay, so customer experience is everything. And you experienced a little bit of that onboarding experience. The rule here is within 72 hours. I prefer next day if possible, right? Because you want to get it while the excitement's there. But you might be onboarding, 5 of these at a time. You're spending maybe an hour with each potential client. You're doing this kind of yourself. So you may not have that ability, or maybe you do. Up to you. But just keep in mind, 72 hours based on our data, our processes, our feedback, what we've experienced with thousands of customers. 72 hours is the sweet spot. The next thing is making sure that if you're not in person, side by side, that you're on the Zoom, and they're sharing their screen. You want them to drive. Now, there's a couple things to keep in mind here. If you're doing this remotely, you want to identify a few people. One, owner, manager, whoever is responsible for the payment, right? Approving this should be on the call, right? With the option they can leave, but they should definitely be on the call and involved to see the value and what you're doing. But most importantly, the person that you want on there is the person that's going to be using it every day. We call it the daily active user, the person that's going to be using it every day, or the persons that are going to be using it every day. Might be multiple, right? And we want to do a few things with them from the screen share, and then we want them to do a few things with like bookmarking certain pages, downloading the app, and for everybody that's going to be using this to have access. Because what you'll notice is that there'll be pings and dings that come in, notifications, and that's what keeps everybody engaged, okay? And we have some best practices around that. So if they're, you wanna bookmark everything on the browser they use every day, okay? You may be a Google Chrome browser user, they might be a Windows browser user. If you remember Netscape from back in the days, throw in Netscape, right? They might be a Go Duck or all these other different browsers that are out there. Make sure that this is on the browser they're going to use every day, right? We recommend Google Chrome because of how we built out the platform, the updates, all those great things. But you need to make sure that it's on the browser they use. That way you're good. Oh my goodness, Navigator. Yep, I see you. Okay. And we want to create a folder with the branding of what you call it. If it's the AI medical receptionist assistant, whatever it is, you want to label that folder. And we want to drag and drop your browser portal login. So like, for example, ours is app.gohighlevel.com. Yours may be with your white label branding, app.aimedicalassistant.com or airesponse1st.com. Whatever your domain is, you want that to be, put into the bookmarks. And then we've also created the white label branded help doc called Lead Connector Help. So you want to also do that one so that way they can go ahead and ask questions or see the FAQs that are there as well. Okay. If you're tracking along with me, go ahead and type in the chat bookmarks. Go ahead and type in the chat bookmarks if you're tracking along with me. Want to make sure we're on the same page here. Don't want to lose anybody. Okay. And as we move on here, the last thing that we want to do is we want them to download the mobile app. We want them to download the mobile app. The mobile app is in the App Store for Apple or the Google Android store. Either or, it's called Lead Connector. Lead Connector. Okay. Have them download that app because look, we're using this in our back pocket every day. Doesn't matter which version of the phone you have, we have our phone with us, right? We have our phone with us. We have our keys, maybe our gum and our phone, right? We don't leave the house without it unless we're in a rush, but we have our phone. And your business owner clients are going to want to be able to use this on the run, especially if they're a service business, especially if they're an absentee owner where they're managing the operations elsewhere, but they have their frontline staff, their management, their leadership on site, right? So you have those flexibilities of doing this on the run. Go ahead and type in the chat, mobile app is key. Mobile app is key. Mobile app is key. Okay. So as we're going through this, I want to go a little bit in depth techie wise because it's important that you're aware. It's important that you're aware from a sub account setup what you'll have to do when creating it. So keep in mind here that in the membership course, the 5-day AI challenge membership course that my colleague Kaplan from our product team has put together, he goes through this step by step, right? So this is a supplement to that. You have to go through that course because it's going to fill in the white spots, right? I'm doing a fast coloring on this. I'm just kind of sketching this out. That's going to add more color, add more detail. That course is so key, okay? But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to walk through a few of these components. Let me just create a quick checklist here, right? And we're going to jump into that, okay? Go ahead and type in the chat, what's a nugget what's a nugget or two that you've taken away from this so far? And I'm asking by design because I want to make sure that if I'm missing something, we're getting you what I'm missing, and we're able to make sure that we're taking your use case, your need, your level of expertise into consideration because your business owner friend, your business owner client, your beta user is going to be in the same shoes as you. Going to be in the same shoes as you. So let's be proactive with this. Okay. So let me go ahead and maximize my screen here. Okay. Go ahead and just throw in the chat here if you can see my high level screen clear enough. See, I might have to zoom in a little bit here. I might have to zoom in, be on the safe side. Okay. Let me know if you see that clearly. Okay. Awesome. All right. Thank you, folks. I'm working off of one screen today, so it's a little bit difficult, but we're gonna make it happen. And you'll experience this too. You might be on vacation. You might be at, you know, off-site. You might be away for a trade show, for events, for networking, wherever it is. And you might have to do this stuff like I'm doing here with you now in the lobby because you got people that are saying, hey, I want to take this. I was referred to you by Jane. Jane says you're awesome as a person. She says you know what you're doing. She says you have this AI tool that can help me run my business. I got to get started now. Right. And you might say, oh, well, all right, let's do it. And now the practice is kicking in. Okay. Sweet. So let me switch my screen here, get to my handy notes. And let's hit the next part. Let's go. Thank you for sharing the nuggets. If you're just jumping in, go ahead and share, what's caught your attention, what's maybe brought some clarity, maybe what do you need more clarity in? I go both ways. I'm okay with this. If you got, you know, John, I need more in this. I need more understand that. It's not clear with this. I want to know more of that. I'm okay with that. Send it my way. Okay. This is all about you. So we're going to go into agency view. So just a little quick recap here. We got two views. We got agency view, which is us as the software business, us as the service provider. And then we have sub account view, which is our client's access. Okay. So when going to sub account view, you have to click create a sub account. And now I want to show you one way, but let you know there's two ways. We're going to go the regular account way, which is for somebody that is on the $97 a month plan or the $297 a month plan. Okay. If you're on the $497 a month plan, you have the option for SaaS, which is where this will do a majority of the preset setup for you. Okay. But we're going to go regular account for the majority. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go to give me one moment here. We're going to go to our snapshot. And in our snapshot, let's just pretend that they want us to create a one-page website for them. Like they just want us to do the bare bone because they're brand new. And we're going to use the home services business for right now, right? They're starting their business. John, I want to get this going, but I need like a one-page website. I'm just getting started here, and I want your AI receptionist. So we went from like the gateway offer all the way up to an expansion offer. Let's say we're charging $297 per month for the one-page website and the AI, right? So let's just pretend that it's Tree Services Elmont, right? This is the business, but you just want to confirm that this is the business. Sometimes you'll find that you'll need to add them manually if they don't have any digital presence. But in this case, they have something, right? So we're creating this sub account, right? We're plugging in all the information, all the correct information. This information matters. It all works together, right? We're confirming the business information, the time zone, so on and so forth, right? Once we do that, so let me just let me do this here real quick. And that way I can get you the next screen and kind of walk you through this live. Website, okay. I'm going to go Eastern. Yeah, bear with me. Okay. Let me go back to my screen share. And okay, share my screen here, maximize. All right. So now I fill this information in. I'm going to click save. Oh, I forgot to put business niche. Right. Home service. You want to fill everything in, right? It'll bring you now to this section. It's going to bring you to this section now, right? So in this section, has all my information, right? And these are like SaaS doesn't apply to you. Rebilling doesn't apply to you. These won't apply to you because we're just doing the regular account. But there's help guides around how that works for SaaS mode. So what we're going to do here is we got all the information covered. We just want to go through each tab. Okay. And then we want to go ahead and click switch to sub account. So we go to switch to sub account. Now it's going to bring us into that customer sub account. This is essentially what they see, right? So with what they see now is brand spanking new. So first thing we need to do is we need to add that customer, business owner, into their account. So we're going to go on the left, we're going to click on my staff, and we're going to add them as an employee. Right? Okay. Let's see why this is doing that. I don't think the phone number is required. All of this is going to kind of like check the information, right? Make sure it's all valid and all that good stuff. So you want to make sure you put in the right information in now. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to, right, we have options here. So for the time's sake, you know, like you can create a password for them or it'll create a password for them. You can add your signature or you can leave it blank. So we'll click save, right? That user was created. They are now going to get an email to the email address here that we put in. So if they don't get the email, right, it's not going to happen because we didn't put the right email in, right? And on the left-hand side, you want to start adjusting their role permission. So if it's the business owner, we should put them as an admin with full access, right? This is also an area where that if you're going to stick with your gateway offer, you can disable the other services as needed. I like to keep everything open so they see the potential. And because in our first month, we're going to be talking with them often, they're most likely not going to try anything on their own or be successful with it. So I like to let them see the potential, right? So you have that settings section there. But let's say, for example, we add somebody else and we need to make them a user. We can limit their access. And we can limit their access in depth, right? Because let's say this business owner brought on a virtual assistant or a new employee that they don't quite have a full trust with yet. They'll be able to adjust those areas. And as we go, we now have the call and voicemail settings. So you'll be able to create a phone number, go through the process, set up how that phone number syncs, set up your voicemail, set up their calendar, very in depth. And what's great about this, folks, is that as you're getting your account set up, you can go to speakwithus.us/success. And then our team can forward you to our onboarding team that they'll help you set everything up for your account. And you'll have an idea on how you can set it up for your customers as well. But there's a lot of details that are associated to make everything run smooth, right? And now we got their account access set up. They get notifications. They're using that login for the web. Their team's using their logins. Each one has their own login. They're logging in through Lead Connector. So it's not branded to high level, in which they'll be able to, right, not know that it's high level, it's your brand. And people typically will say like Lead Connector is our operating system. So, you'll be working with me. What we'll be doing for you is customize our intellectual property and our strategy goes on top of the operating system. And others just say it's high level, so it's your choice. So as we do that, the next thing that I recommend with onboarding them is then going into the conversation AI section, which is under the settings. And since you're under the sub account, what I showed you before, you start plugging in and adding what's applicable, right? Create the bot, create the information. This is set at 2 minutes. I want to put it for 2 seconds. And you'll be able over time to practice, have your checklist, or we have a handful of people in our Facebook group, official community, as well as our SaaSpreneur and as well as our Facebook 5-Day AI group, that they will share their checklist and their goodies. They'll share their checklist, their goodies, and their best practices. So we have a pretty, open community that will share, help, and teach. So you'll be able to create these processes. But for this purpose, I just want to walk you through the standard setup, right? So as we go through there, you want to go definitely here to pull this up here. Give me 1 second. To our launch pad. Our launch pad pretty much makes it so easy to hit what's important from the get-go, right? So you go through these features and then you go through what you've learned, and then you go through what you're practicing and evolving to, and then you got a full up and running AI, your industry receptionist or executive assistant tool up and running, right? Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel. Let me know where you're at with the education journey of this. Let me know where you're at with your questions. I would like to know because I'm going to make adjustments here as we're going through this to best suit the current group now that is rocking and rolling with us, right? Because the last group gave us a bunch of suggestions and changes we've implemented. One of them, which I can't mention right now, that is in the works and being fixed, was actually a big one that needed to be cared for. Our development team's working on it, so that news is coming soon. This helps us be better, and we want to help you as well, right? So thank you all for the comments, feedback, sweet, okay? Right? Practice makes perfect. And we're moving and grooving here. So let me see what else I have on my list. Let me catch up here. Our next is, so we basically covered creating the sub account. We created the snapshot, right? Like if it's a chiropractor, use the medical. If it's a home services, use the home services. And I'll show you this here because it's important. It's important. Let me pull up here. Where did I go? I'm going to go here one moment, switch my screen. I'm going to go to my tree service. Okay. And what's nice here, I'm going to show you this, right? This is a new feature that came out recently, is that based on the conversations, the activity on the account, when you do your checkup call, your checkup from the neck up call, whatever you call it, this is going to give you a rundown of how many tasks, how active are they in the software, how many conversations. These are all your KPIs. How many users, how many contacts, how many outreach messages, how many submissions, how many text messages. Imagine going to your client. I want you to imagine this. You go to your client on your checkup call and you say, hey, Joe, you've been in business for 6 months. We've been working together for 3 of those months. Since we've been working together, we've put a bunch of processes in place. I've taught you a handful of things and you have adopted some of our best practices. I want to go over with you a report that I've generated that's going over the last 3 months of what we've done together. Okay. And this goes from like how active you are in the platform, how many conversations, how many appointments, how many new contacts. And also, since we connected your Stripe account and your other credit card processing, we're able to show you all those payments that is going through with your dispatch. And this is the exciting part, because before you were doing pen and paper, right? You were doing pen and paper because you didn't know what you didn't know. And then you were doing like Venmo and you were doing Cash App, and it just wasn't professional as you wanted it to be. So we took your vision, we took our implementation, our skills, and we put it all together. And this is what we have to show you. And I want you to be excited because right now we're in phase 1 of our expansion, but I'm already planning out phase 2 of where we could go based on what the competition is doing and what the market is demanding, right? The market is demanding more and we want to fulfill, right? And this is what we show them. Obviously, with numbers on it, you can adjust the dates. You have tons of flexibility on here. And I want you to feel excited about this because this wasn't always available. This added based on feedback and best practices of what our agency owner clients wanted, marketers and direct consumers wanted. Okay. So there's more and more to come. So let's keep it moving here. There's so much more goodies that I would love to show you. But for time's sake, it's so important that we stay on agenda. But go ahead and throw in the chat what you like to see more of. If there's a scenario, if there's a use case, if there's a strategy that you're thinking about implementing, go ahead and share that in the chat, and we'll go ahead and craft a response to support it as best as possible, right? So let's now take this to the onboarding call. In my demonstration, in my role play, in my scenario, I basically went through a bird's eye view of what that looks like. But this is like the framework though, and you can adjust it to what works for you. But this is the framework of the onboarding conversation. And our goal here is to make sure we cover all parts, that they understand that we are in a relationship with them to positively impact their bottom line with our features, strategy, and guidance of capturing visitors, turning them into conversations, potentially into customers, nurturing them by giving them the answers to the questions they have at a speed that they expect at all times of the day, night, whether they're open, holidays, or closed, and then close from initial conversation to building rapport through the AI reception feature, giving them a great experience doing business with them, into now buying more or buying for the first time, all of which is very important, right? And as we do that, you're with practice, and I'm going to all different slides here, you with practice are going to be comfortable and confident doing this, explaining it, showing it, just like I was with you on the spot, okay? So it is going to take time. And feel free to jot down the questions. If you're watching the replay of this, go ahead and chime in as well. Hashtag replay and chime in if you're watching the replay. We've included our AI chat installation client walkthrough. We've covered this where, let's say, for example, our client, our beta, doesn't want a website from us. They have their own existing website. They spend tons of money. It's up to date. They're in our like learning phase with us. They don't quite 100% trust us. So what we want to do is let them know that we can still connect the AI reception service to their WordPress website or any other website they have. And we have a resource link that's included in the membership course that will let you know how and which services we offer, right? So there are many. There's Duda, there's Weebly, there's Wix, there's Shopify, there's Squarespace. There's a whole bunch, right? And there's a video, and then there's a setup. So it's very, very, very detailed. And we update this. It's always evergreen. So that way you have what you need to serve your clients, but also get better each and every time as you do it. Okay. So that's included. As we go on with that, it's important. We went over this already, but we're just covering it again, that we're clicking on the conversational AI under the sub account. We're training the bot by uploading the website, uploading the Google Doc, uploading all the information custom to the business, and then we're training it by putting in some questions, adding some one-offs, and going from there. If you're tracking with me, let me know, JB, I'm tracking with you. I'm following you. I'm with you. And if you're with me and you still have questions, I'm with you, but I got a lot of questions. That's fine too. I'm with you, but I have a lot of questions. Because we do have a handful of people here that have been doing this a long time, running their marketing business. This is just an expansion offer that they're going to add on to their normal product suite. And then we have those that are brand new. And then in the middle. So there's a lot of different versions of folks that we have here. Okay. So one thing that came up last training that we did this, and it comes up very often because we're finding that a lot of folks are already like getting people that are interested, whether they're referrals, networking, personal relationships, or just family members, is JB, how do I go about and take money to get this stuff going? I don't want to do it for free. How do I like invoice through iLevel or my brand to get started? So I want to show you here briefly what you need to do on your end. If you're on the 97, 297, or 497, it is our payments platform. If you have the 497 plan and you want to activate SaaS mode and you have the time to go through the process, or you want to meet with one of our professionals and have them onboard you through SaaS mode, you can do that. But for this training, I'm going to show you how to do it right out of the box, right? Few clicks, cha-ching, okay? So we're going to go into the sub account, right? We have agency view. That's like our motherboard, our mothership, our main account for us as a service provider. But as the service provider, we also have a sub account that we work out of, which is our 5-day AI challenge acquisition snapshot. And this would normally be your business name. So you created your business name sub account, and that's what you're working out of, what you prospect, what you talk to your customers with, what you have your website set up for, right? So we're going to go here to the payments section. We're going to go to the payments section. And first and foremost, for this to work, to put money in the cash register, we have to go to the integrations tab. In the integrations tab, depending on where in the world you're at, right? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Oh, that was old school. Sorry. If you remember Carmen Sandiego, right? I don't want to date myself here, but if you remember Carmen Sandiego, throw that in the chat. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? All right. We want to go to the integration section and we want to connect our Stripe. If we don't have a Stripe account, go to stripe.com, create an account, follow their process. We are not associated with Stripe. Stripe is a credit card processing system that has their rules, regulations, terms, conditions, and you have responsibilities, and they have responsibilities to you that you have to create an account, and that's separate from high level. We just integrate to make Cha-ching, the cash register, seamless. Okay. Same applies with PayPal. If you have authorized.net or you have a third party that integrates with NMI, whatever you prefer, go ahead and plug in. Keep in mind that Stripe has different features and abilities than PayPal, than these as well. So there is differences in between the credit card processing, their APIs, their customer experience, and their payment processing. So you'll have to do some due diligence and some research so you know how to set your expectations and know how to connect your bank accounts, all that jazz. And um, as a reminder, you keep all the money that goes through your credit card processor. We're just the operating system that you're working out of. Okay, so you'll connect. After you connect, you can do two things. You can create a subscription that you can use as like a, from a menu, or you can create a invoice template. And this is very plug and play. We have help, we have settings, click on new. I want to create a recurring template. My recurring template is going to be for a monthly fee, right? And let's say this is for my first customer. This is for my chiropractor, right? It'll be monthly. We're signing them up today, which is the 16th. So it'll be on the 16th of each month, of every 1 month, right? If you're billing quarterly, of every 3 months, you're billing every 6 months, you have that choice. Okay. Gonna start today. And it's never gonna end until I manually cancel it, right? It's never gonna end until I manually cancel it. And I want to send this invoice, let's say 7 days before the renewal. So that way I get a temperature check of where we're at. And if in fact I need to be a little bit more white glove to help them see the benefit or assist, right? This is where making sure you have all the right information in your contact section is important, because it's going to pull the contact information from your database. And then you might have to plug in some information here as needed. You're going to add an item. So we're going to add a new item. We're going to call this the AI Executive Assistant. Okay, it's a digital good, or it could be either or, service, digital good, because sometimes the people like are coupling it up with a course, coaching services. Either or, a service or digital good is fine. We're going to call this the AI Exec Assist, and we're going to go $197 a month. We're going to save this for later use. Click save. Okay, I click save here. I put my terms and conditions here. Right. And again, I'm just doing this from scratch. We have best practices. We have information or FAQs on how to do payments. We have people in our community that share feedback. So this is just the functionality part of all this. Okay. We're going to go to the top here. We're going to label this our AI Exec Assistant. Okay. We're going to save. Right. We're going to save. Right. And then we can schedule this out to go out now through email and text. Just email, just text. We have our payment mode. We have our amount. We're going to enable auto payment if it's going to be monthly. And then we click schedule. And then I'll send that out. Okay. Now this is for a recurring. If I just want to send a one-off, like a custom invoice, I can go custom invoice, new invoice, send a one-time invoice. Right, it's a little bit of a different screen look. Plug that information in, find my logo, plug my logo in, find my client, put my client in, set my issue date, my due date. This is important. You want this due date to be the same day or the next day, but don't, they won't just, you want this to be right away, right? Add new item. My AI executive assistant, I already saved it as a product, right? It carried over the price. They're buying two because they're going to do it for two of their businesses, okay? They're doing it for two of their businesses, right? Or maybe they're just doing it for one. See how that does it? Boom, right? Now, if you have like QuickBooks or other programs, yes, you could use that. But the benefit of using this within high level with your payment processor and sync is so that way it's all in one and you're able to use that information, have it centrally located like your customers expect, right? And then we're going to label this for AI. I'm sorry. We're going to go AAA Tree Care is our customer, AI exec assistant, just so I'm aware, right? I'm going to click save. I'm going to hit send. When I hit send, it'll send it out and then it'll show up here. You see why that naming convention is so important? Because I'm going to be having, this is going to fill up quickly, folks. You're going to be sending out invoices very quickly. You want to be able to like hover and know who's pending, right? Who do we need to send a link to? Who do we need to download? Who do we need to void? Who do we need to record a payment for? Who do we need to edit, right? All that's available here. Let me go ahead and click void on this so my test doesn't think I'm trying to get moolah from them, right? Let me know what caught your attention during this demo of this for you. This is for you, y'all. So you're doing this to charge people today that say, hey, let's get going. Charge people next week that said, hey, let's get going. This is to get you, your customers, and get paid from those customers. So with the work you're doing, it's worth your time. And then there's so many features up here. Coupons, products. I mean, it doesn't end. It's just so much available. But let me know what caught your attention here, because we're getting towards the end of time. We're getting towards the end of time, and I want to make sure I'm getting enough insights and feedback so we can make adjustments as we go. Right? So go ahead and share what caught your attention or what you would like to know more of. What would you like to know more of? What would you like to know more of? Okay. Excellent. Let's see what else I have here on the agenda. Bear with me. Let me change my screen here. So we taught you how to get paid, right? Getting paid is important. How many of you want to get paid? Go ahead and type in the chat. Getting paid. Let's get paid, right? Because we're going to give our customers great service. We're going to give them great service from a product perspective, as well as white glove service from you as you're bringing on your clients. Because at the end of the day, it's your reputation as well. It's your business that you're building, whether it's a side hustle while you're working the 9 to 5, or if it's going to be the main hustle or part of your existing successful business, all of which apply. Okay. So as we go here, let me just pull up my screen here. Slideshow, right? So we talked about how to get paid. We talked about the different workflows. One thing I want you to keep in mind here, while you're on your journey, messaging is everything. In our course, we include some messaging. We include some best practices, but I want you to put yourself in the shoes of your customer on what they expect to know, such as your hours of operation. What time could they expect you to communicate with them? Your check-in calls. How often are you all going to meet? Your support options. How do they ask a question or submit a ticket with you? As well as like who's on your team and who are maybe their point of contacts. All very important as we build this out. And our membership course goes over that. But you're also going to find that you're going to need to do some of your own self-learning. And maybe you do it by looking at some of the competitors that are out there and what they do for their prospects and what they do for their customers. Like going through the customer facing experience, right? Going through the customer facing experience will bring that clarity as well. So we've gone over a lot. All right, we've gone over a lot. Help me understand this here. Help me understand if you just jumped in for the first time today. Did you just jump in for the first time today on this live because you had a chance or because you just found out about it? Let me know if you just jumped on your first time. If you've been here since day 1, 2, 3, and now today, let me know if you've been here since day 1, or maybe you started day 2. Let me know what gaps we need to help you fill, because we could point you in the right direction based on that. And then now, let me know that you have access to the membership course within the university section of high level under the university side button there. Let me know that you have access to that. And let me know if you have access to the Facebook group, or if you don't have access to the Facebook group, let me know that as well. Let me know that as well, okay? With what we have here, day 4, we're at the top of the hill. We're at the very top of the hill. And we've covered from attracting, right? Attracting the customer, potential customer, to building the relationship, to servicing, fulfilling on the customer. And then tomorrow we're going to speak about ascension and retention. So now we're going to take that customer, grow them in our way of doing business, and then we're going to keep them doing business with us. That's tomorrow. But if you have any questions from day 1 through 4, you need to include them on our Facebook page, chat here, on our YouTube page, chat here, on our Instagram, wherever it is. Please notate it so we know where we can help. Okay. If you're in the Facebook group and you have not yet posted a picture of yourself, your business logo, maybe a video, please let us know that you're there. Everybody gets 30 days in that group, and then we push them into another group. So every day counts, and the relationships you make are not always because you reach out to somebody. It's because you put yourself out there and they reach out to you. Now, I saw a few comments about, well, people are reaching out to me, selling me something. They're reaching out to me, selling me something. You have the resources now that you don't need to buy anything unless you want to fast track, unless you were referred by somebody, unless you reached out to somebody. But I want to paint a picture here so you know where to go and how to find the high level, right, approved ways of getting assistance. Speakwith.us/success is no charge for help there. That's joining it through the chat, the live Zoom. Okay, you can go there. Second is going to gohighlevel.com and going to our certified admin directory. Those are folks that have went through hours and hours of membership training to learn the software through our practice and how we teach it to our staff and beyond. And then they've gone through a proctor exam. They charge a fee, but typically people will go to them for a custom project or to fast track the process. Third is in the Facebook group, asking questions. If someone sends you a message pretending to be with high level, like high level is really not going to message you privately, um, unless unless it's like me saying, "Hey, how are you?" And I'm responding back to something, right? But like, I'm not even going to do that, to be honest with you. So, no one from high level is going to be reaching out to you directly like that. We're going to be publicly speaking, or you reaching out to our public channels or through our support. So please keep that in mind. Um, and with that in mind, when you introduce yourself in the group and you engage in commentary in the group, people are familiar with you. They're more willing to help you. So go ahead, throw your business logo if you don't want to share your face. Throw your progress up to now. Throw a photo of you um, on the computer. Throw a video of you talking. Be creative, but let us know that you exist in the group so we can shake your hand back and talk with you again. Okay. If you're listening to this and you just caught on to it and you found it intriguing and you're interested in it, there's a link below for a free 30-day trial. We typically do a 14-day trial on our website, but for challenges and events like this, it's 30 days. Go ahead and sign up for that 30-day trial, experience what everyone else is, and enjoy it and see if this thought becomes a hustle, side hustle, or replaces your main flow. At the end of the day, AI is here to stay, and we want you to be part of it with our platform. Okay. Questions keep coming in. No matter where you are in the country, you can use this platform. Some features are limited. Some features are limited. We are in our internationalization phase. Chase Buckner, with our product team, and the developers behind the scenes are working very, 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 very hard to bring these features and benefits and services that you want in your country. So keep that in mind. We have amazing folks behind the scenes here to help you. We have thousands of folks that are here to assist you. So please take advantage. We're at our time. We're at our time. I apologize for the sneezing. I apologize for the noise. I'm working out of a lobby today, but thank you. Thank you for riding along. Thank you for your engagement. Keep the questions coming. Keep the positive vibes coming. Keep your head in the game. Know that this isn't going to happen overnight. It is a process that hundreds, if not thousands of others have built businesses off of it or part of it. Results will vary, and it's all because of you. Until next time, I'll see you tomorrow, Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern, right here. And we're going to go into ascension and retention. See you tomorrow.